I have an Echo 310 CS310 chainsaw, and I couldn't find anywhere on how to change the oil pump on this thing, and it took me a while. And what I found was the oil pump is right down in here and turns. And the issue I was having was trying to get that out of there, because on the bottom, I'll show you, there's nothing to grab to. So I just took a screwdriver, a flat tip screwdriver, which I don't have with me, pushed it in here at this top and pushed it down through there. It comes out the bottom. Right here. Now this is the new one that I got in there, and it's actually threaded, which you can't hardly see. But it's threaded so that I used a small screw to put it back in. The old pump, here's the old pump, and it was binding. When you get to a certain point, it was bound up, and you could get it to force around, but it was sticking, and it ruined the worm gear, which is this part right here, is the worm gear. So I had to order a new worm gear and a new pump, and then what I did was I measured inside of there. I just took a thing like this, reached down in there, there's a hole, or there's a, right there's where the oil is discharged, and I just took this down there, measured it, marked it, and put the other one in there, and then basically looked at the head of the gear, make sure it was centered on this shaft here. Okay, then if you look at this thing, that's the discharge hole, and there's the suction hole, and it's got a groove there on the bottom, and that groove sits right like that. So I marked it, so it sits right here, and then the discharge port's on the opposite side. So that's what I found. This gear this worm gear is supposed to just roll right out of there, because that's just and it goes right back in, and then that turns to operate the pump. So that goes around, no problem now. And that's driven off your the clutch assembly. This little groove right here hooks to that, and that's what turns the pump. There's no instruction manual on this. I called the dealer, and they were just pretty much useless on it. The old one, this one here, it was not threaded, so there's nothing to grab onto. That's why I had to push it out and then get it with some vice grips and pull it all the way out. So right here, that's your suction, and that little groove, the oil supply line fits up into this hole, and that supplies the oil. Oil flows up through here, this turns in here, and on this side is the discharge, and that's what goes up to here, and then that goes to your oiler. So to get it out was just tricky, and I had to again use a flat tip screwdriver to wedge down in there and push it out. So I just took the flat tip in here, hooked the end of that, pushed that gear down, and saw that it was going, and then I just kept working it down to get it out. Putting it back together, you just pushed it back up there, centered it on the shaft, you put the worm gear back in. My other worm gear wouldn't come out. It was stuck because it was all galled up. And putting the new one in is just push it in and then reassemble. Put the washer on. Then there's a plate, and actually the plate on here, you might be able to see it. Right there says up. So that goes on there. Then you put the clutch assembly on there. Put your clutch disc on there, or clutch rotor on there, and you can see. Let's see if I can show you. There, right down in here. Let's see if you can see it. Oh, there. Right. Oh, that had it. Right down there is where that spring engages there, and then that rotates with the clutch. So anyway, they didn't have this on internet anywhere, and I found out on my own, kind of trying to figure this out, how to do it. The bearings fit in here. Here we go. Then you have a plate and then a lock washer that you plate with the plate here, and then a lock washer slip that locks it in place. Anyway, that's hopefully this helps somebody, because it took me a long time to figure out that I wasn't going to get any information on YouTube or from the vendor too much. You guys have a good day. Thank you. Bye.